and on the same boat, and some of them dropped off. About 1,500 dropped off, I think, at Victoria Point, doing no doubt air trip work, and we went to Mergui. We worked there in Mergui for a few months and fixed up airstrips there, and then they moved us on to Tavoy, mostly by walking, marching as we trained the army, and didn't give us any tucker because that's the easiest way to move you when you haven't got any tucker to worry about. We had Tavoy for, I don't know how long, quite a few weeks, and then from then on they moved us up on the up to Tambazard and the beginning of the railway line. Yes.
So you were there at Tambazard in October when they started constructing the line from the northern end?
No, I started before that, I think, because it was going fairly well when we got there. Other forces were there further up, but I know the first work I had was at the 26 kilo. I was doing earthwork, just cutting dirt on my head or in a basket or a bit of a bamboo stretcher, and cutting dirt there, and cutting quite a long cutting, about 200 yards long and about 30 or 40 feet deep, and we had to cut that right down. And then we moved up to 30 for a while, and then up to further up, and finished up at 102. I think I was highest I was there, and then I came back to Tambazard because I was crook because I was getting malaria about every 16 days. And when I was back to Tambazard, when either the British or the Yanks come over and bombed the corner of the camp, because we were right beside a masting yard, and they killed 3 chaps that day. And then they came over about 3 days later, and the Japs said, "Oh, they won't come over, don't come Sunday, you know." They came all right, and they killed about 30 of that chap, about 30 that day. And they moved us out in the jungle then, because the Japs wouldn't let us put a Red Cross up or anything like that, because they thought it was a Jap camp. We finished up at 30 again, and then was at 30.
Were you still a patient at that stage? Because you'd gone back to Tambazard with your malaria.
Oh yes, yeah, but I wasn't working on the line, but I suppose you call it a patient.
Yes, yeah.
But went to 30, and then 2 of us, Keith Cole and myself, I don't know why we were picked out. We were picked out to go to the 55 kilo where Coatsy was, and a few others, and they took us by truck about 10 k's, I think it must have been 10 or 15 k's, and gave us a bit of rice and whoosh. We said, "Guard, no guard, no, you just go. We're not going to walk with you to the 55." So we went to the 55 and got pulled up at the guardhouse, of course, and our interpreter saw us and fixed things up, because otherwise the Japs might have thought we just escaped or whatever it was. But then we worked there in 55 for a long while.
So did you assist in the any of the amputations that Coates did?
Oh yes, you were there in his big operating theatre. Was into the hut and open, and dust had come in. You could hardly see the patient sometimes for dust as he took the legs off. And old Coates said, "Well, come on, no." Like a barber's chair, he said, "No waiting, he'd take anything up to 6 off in the morning." Just where the hand saw from that the butcher shop used to use it, and a couple of small knives, and then he used to suture them up with catgut that he got from the bullocks. But most cases it was used to break down because of the gangrene in the person's body. But it was mainly the gangrene that caused from the ulcers that we had to take the legs off. And in that camp, I think we took off about 130 or 140 legs.
And did you know of this Dutch chemist that supposedly helped him to make his injections, or
yes.
did you know Van Boxtel?
Yeah, there was two of them actually. They used to get the some sort of grass in the jungle because they lived in the tropics for a long while themselves, and they were able with some mixture to get a sort of a part anaesthetic, and they used to come too when we had the legs off, and they'd come too, and they were very interested in anatomy, and they had a knife, and they'd be when the leg was taken off, they'd cut the leg, and they'd say, well, this muscle's this and that. No, that's I was just carving up the legs. And
so was that Van Boxtel doing that? Or?
Yeah.
And was there another name, Costamanus? Does that ring a bell?
I don't know the other chap's name, but there was two of them.
Yeah.
Used to more or less work together.
Was there an Australian chemist there by the name of Brown, a Tasmanian? Bevan Brown.
Bevan Brown. Yeah, he was there too. Yes, Bevan. Yeah.
Now, did he do any of that work with Van Boxtel to make the process the cocaine for doing the?
I'm not sure, but I would say he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you come across another Tasmanian chemist by the name of Fred Atherton?
Yes, Fred Atherton. Yes.
Yeah.
He died a few years ago with cancer.
Yeah.
Yes, he was our two chemists in our unit.
Yes.
Fred and.
Did you ever see Atherton on the line? Because he worked in a malaria research unit there.
Yes, he did later on, and I believe he was decorated for it afterwards.
Yes.
He actually, when he left Singapore with us, he evidently brought his microscope with him, and then he was able to microscope and slides. He was able to do all that.
Yes.
Malaria work later on. He wasn't in the camps where I was later on, but I know he was doing it.
Yeah. I'm told by his daughter that he was working with 10 Japs and 10 Allies, and they were doing malaria research up there.
Oh yeah. Well,
and they lived together with the Japs.
Yeah.
But they were never in the POW camps. They were always nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know. No, he died with the camps in their hand.
Yes.
He had that taken off, and later on he had that taken off.
Yeah. And he owned the oldest pharmacy in Australia.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Or apothecary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what was your opinion of Coates?
Absolutely super. Actually, I was in Melbourne at the time of his death and funeral, and Dunlop said he was a man among men. He was still. He was absolutely. Everybody just adored him. They just worshipped him just like a god in the camps. He was, and he's been reputed as saving more lives than any other doctor, because in Burma, we're right in the jungle. We had no contact with outside at all. Whereas Weary Dunlop did a good job, and us in Thailand, they had access to the river trade there, and they were able to get different medicines and things trading with the Thais. But as far as we were concerned in Malaya, we had nothing at all like that.
Yes. Could I just run through the names of the doctors who are in your CCS and just get a comment from you about them? Tom Hamilton?
Yeah, he was